I'm putting together a tier list with every single element in elemental dungeons. But before I do that, be sure to subscribe and join the Discord, as I do giveaways all the time there and it helps a lot. And I'm gonna hop right into the tier list. And to start off, I'm just gonna plug in all the errors. Nobody is really here for the errors. They're all just kind of bad. So I'm just going to put them all in here. This is also the order in which I think they are good. So if it's farther to the left, I think it's better. And if it's farther to the right, I think it's worse. Also, Fool's Phantom is going in F, as it's just an April Fool's joke, you know, element. And this is pretty much the exact same for my last tier list as well. And Nature's going in D. Nature's actually really good because it has an M1. Like, Nature is one of the best starter elements in the game because it has an M1. It is so good to use early on, and it has very quick clear times compared to most starter elements. Next is Angel, and I'm actually putting Angel in B. I think Angel got a little stronger, but it is still very dependent on its swords, and this is just assuming Angel is on its own. So this isn't assuming it has any sword, just Angel on its own. Now I have Angel a little higher up now because I think its survivability is much higher, since its transformation is never down, and it's got this massive heal bubble it can use. It's just got a lot it can use now, and it's very, very good for Reaper raids. And as you get better swords, Angel just gets significantly better. And I'll just go ahead and put the other Angel up in SS, because this is Angel when you pair it with Conqueror's Blades. Conqueror's Blades are insanely overpowered, paired with, you know, Angel's damage reduction along with his transformation that never leaves, along with his heals. It's just insane, especially in a team where you can keep so many other people alive, yourself alive, and deal crazy damage with the Conqueror's Blade. But it being an SS is dependent on how good of a sword you have. Now for Bunny actually has very good damage. People kind of sleep on Bunny. Bunny is like a worthless element to most people, but it actually has very good damage. It's one of the best non-mythic elements in the game. Like, it does have very, very good damage because it's not technically a legendary. It's in between legendary and mythic. Because I think, and even in the game, they had it classified as a limited. And for Dragon post-awakening, it's an A tier. I think Dragon's right up there with the mythics now. It is so good. The transformation is good. It's kind of fun to use now, in my opinion, especially since you can transform into a dragon. It's a really fun element, as well as just being really good now when you have its transformation, like all of its new awakened abilities. Galaxy, I'm actually, for the first time, I'm putting a legendary ahead of a galaxy, or ahead of a mythic. I'm putting Galaxy behind Dragon. Galaxy is genuinely like worthless. Like, it is so just useless. It's like the gravity of mythics, or the air of mythics. It is just garbage. Like, you should not be using Galaxy under almost any circumstance. Like, don't ever spin on a Galaxy banner ever. If there's one tip I ever have to give people, it's never spin the banner if Galaxy's in it. Because if you pull Galaxy, it's just like, what are you gonna use it? Like, I hope not. And that gets me to the worst legendary in the game, which is Gravity. So we're gonna put Gravity down in D tier, actually behind Nature, where it has stronger damage than Nature. Nature has the M1. Nature isn't awful to play. Nature's easier to get. So I think under any circumstance, Nature's just better than Gravity. I'd rather have like a corrupted Nature than a corrupted Gravity, like unironically. For Ice is also in D, kind of behind Gravity. Infinity is going up an A ahead of Dragon. Infinity, I think, recently got kind of like a silent buff. It's very strong now, and I think its cooldowns are much quicker than I remember them being. I went back and reused every single one of these elements because I had them all either corrupted or just permanent, like to where I can use them again. And I'm 90% sure Infinity got some sort of buff. I'm not really sure where, but its cooldowns feel way quicker, and it is very strong. Infinity is genuinely like Diet Solar. I don't know if I'm explaining that right, but that's what Infinity feels like. It's like Diet Solar. Next is Kitsune, and Kitsune is S tier. It is the best element to level 1 through 200. If you're anywhere between the levels of 1 and 200, Kitsune is the element you want to be using. Kitsune's got the M1, it's got fast clear times, solid boss damage. It's just an all-around good element, and also like fun element. It is S tier, and I don't really see it dropping anywhere anytime soon. It's no longer the best element in the game, but from levels 1 through 200, it still is the best element in the game. It's just like when you get past 200, now there's, you know, a lot more competition, I think. Next is Krampus, one of my favorite elements, and it was so close. I'm right in between here on Krampus, but it's so close. It's so interchangeable. I want to put this as a draw between Krampus and Infinity. I think it's comfortably better than Dragon and Galaxy. It's definitely better than Galaxy. Everything's better than Galaxy. But I think it's comfortably better than Dragon marginally better than Galaxy, and it's neck and neck with Infinity. Next is Lava, and Lava isn't quite as good as Bunny. Lava's a lot more fun to use, and it just feels better to use and smoother to use, but Bunny does do more damage than Lava, and for that, I'm gonna put Lava just right behind Bunny, but still ahead of Angel, because Angel on its own doesn't really do much damage at all, but it does do a little more after it was awakened. So, you know, and if you value Angel's like stuff it brings to the team and keeping people alive and stuff during raids, then you could probably argue like Angel up here instead, like at the front of, you know, B tier, but I just have it at the back. Next is Light and Lightning. I'm putting both of those in C. Light is still much better than Lightning, but I don't think it's so much better than Lightning to put it up into B, and I don't think Lightning is so much worse than Light to put it down into D. Next is Phantom, and this is a pretty obvious S. It's still solid, still great movement, still great boss damage, solid clear times. It's nowhere near what it used to be in its peak, but it's still a really, really good element. I am putting it behind Kitsune though, but not by a super wide margin. And for Reaper, now Reaper after its transformation, I still think the bread and butter of Reaper is still the skeletons. Still most of your damage with Reaper is going to come from your skeletons, how long you can keep them up, how many you can keep up of them. When you have all 4 like skeletons up, not much at all can out damage Reaper. But even when you have 1 Reaper skeleton up, the things that it can do, like draw boss attention, constantly do damage even when you're not, it's really nice, especially for like the Reaper raid. You can like spawn your skeleton and then just focus on avoiding attacks. Same with like the Angel and the Dragon raid. You can just focus on avoiding attacks while your skeletons do most of the, you know, the heavy hitting. And that's not something a lot of other elements can do. It's very unique to Reaper that it has a mechanic that can draw boss attention while also doing crazy damage. That's why I have it ahead of Kitsune and Phantom. Next is Smoke, and I am putting Smoke in D tier at the back of D tier. It's very close between Ice and Smoke for which one's the worst epic, but they're interchangeable. I just dislike Smoke so much, so I'm putting it at the back of D. And for Solar, I'm putting it ahead of Reaper just because it has more consistent heavy damage. Where Reaper, I think, might outdamage Solar when it has all of its Reapers up. The likelihood that you keep all of the Reaper skeletons up is also very low because they'll probably die at some point. So I think just because of that, Solar has more consistent damage output, and Solar just hits like a truck. Like, it's got insane damage. It's got the mobility to clear dungeons pretty fast. It's just an all-around really strong element. And lastly is Phantom with Conqueror's Blade. That is going in SS, but unlike last time, it's going behind Angel. In my last tier list, I had Phantom plus Cogs better than Angel plus Cogs, but Angel's got buffed with the Awakening so that their transformation never goes down. It's got that really strong heal, so it's got strong heals, transformation never goes down. I think that puts it ahead of Phantom. Now, Angel plus Cogs can't do quite as much damage as Phantom plus Cogs, because Phantom can hit like you with a barrage move on the Phantom and switch to the Cogs and start doing more damage. So I will admit that Phantom can get out more damage, but the survivability of Angel and the utility that Angel brings, I think comfortably puts it ahead of Phantom. Like, I think there's a pretty big gap between Angel plus Cogs versus Phantom plus Cogs, especially now with the changes to how you transform in boss modes. Transformations are going to happen a lot less now because that bar takes a fairly long time to come back if you're not killing anything. Now, if you're doing regular dungeons, your transformation bar will fill pretty fast and it'll stay up for a very long time because it'll stay up depending on how many enemies you're killing. But like, say you're doing the Reaper raid, you're not going to be killing really much of anything, so your transformation is going to, you're going to lose the transformation with the Phantom, whereas Angel, you won't ever lose it. And Phantom can't heal its allies during these raids, which is very important. And so that's why Angel is now slightly ahead of Phantom when you pair them both with Cogs. And yeah, that's my tier list. If I decide to change anything, I'll put it in the comments and pin it or upload another one. So see ya.